Now, impeachment not the only thing being discussed tonight on Capitol Hill after those riots. There are calls from Speaker Pelosi, Senator Chuck Schumer, among others, requesting that Vice President Mike Pence invoke the 25th Amendment, which could force President Trump out of office before President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration in less than 2 weeks. But as our Colette Bordelon learned, it's a lot more complicated than that. She joins us now to explain.
The 25th Amendment, it's pretty confusing to read through. And with less than 2 weeks for President Donald Trump in office, those I talked to say it's unlikely this amendment will actually be invoked.
They broke the glass.
What happened on Wednesday
Everybody stay down. Get down.
has some of our nation's leaders looking for ways to end President Donald Trump's term early.
This is urgent. This is emergency of the highest magnitude.
USA! USA! The quickest and most effective way to remove this president from office would be for the vice president to immediately invoke the 25th Amendment.
An amendment rarely used in our history.
It's one of the greatest areas of our Constitution.
In the past, it's only been used, for example, when a president is going into surgery.
Enacted in the 1960s, the 25th Amendment gives a clear rule of succession in the case of a president's death, saying the VP would become acting president, but then go down to Article 4. That's what people are buzzing about right now. Vice President Pence and a majority of the cabinet would have to say the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. But then the president could come back and say, hang on, no inability exists. Well, then the VP and cabinet would have to send another letter. But Congress would have to decide, and they'd need 2/3 of the vote in both chambers to make it happen.
I'm sorry, in a way, that many of our national leaders are throwing it out as if it's a likely possibility.
Retired political science professor Tom Cronin worked in the White House during the Johnson administration in the 60s.
Nothing in the 25th Amendment that clarifies somebody's mental health or how someone's mental health would be judged.
Better to be cautious about invoking the 25th Amendment than to start creating some precedent that could be dangerous.
If another tried impeachment were to happen and hypothetically succeed, that's when a second vote in the Senate could bar Trump from holding federal office ever again. Congressman Ken Buck has publicly said that invoking the 25th Amendment would set a bad precedent. Meanwhile, the majority of Democratic members in Colorado's congressional congregation are pushing to use it, some even talking about new articles of impeachment, saying the House plans to introduce that resolution on Monday, charging President Trump with inciting and insurrection. Always watching out for you, Colorado Springs. Colette Bordelon, News 5.